NEC section 314.29 mandates that boxes, conduit bodies, and handhole enclosures must be installed in a way that the wiring within them can be accessed without removing any part of the building. This also applies to underground circuits, where excavation of sidewalks, paving, earth, or other substances used to establish the finished grade should not be necessary. However, an exception exists for listed boxes and handhole enclosures that are covered by gravel, light aggregate, or non-cohesive granulated soil, provided their location is effectively identified and accessible for excavation. When dealing with a conduit run through a bridge deck, with the low point is in the middle of the concrete deck slab, and a Form 7T conduit body is planned for use as a drain at that point, accessibility becomes a concern. If there is no need for access at this specific location, because the wiring becomes accessible at its termination, it is possible to consider the applicability of the exception in NEC 314.29. The conduit body could potentially be regarded as a listed box, and the concrete covering it could be viewed as a non-cohesive granulated soil. Furthermore, the location of the conduit body could be effectively identified and made accessible for excavation, if required. It is important to consult with the local electrical inspector or the authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, to ensure code compliance. They can evaluate the specifics of the installation and determine whether the exception in NEC 314.29 is applicable. If the AHA approves the use of the conduit body in that location, it would be deemed an acceptable solution. The importance of adhering to the National Electrical Code, or NEC, cannot be overstated. It is a comprehensive set of standards and guidelines designed to ensure the safe installation and maintenance of electrical systems. Understanding and complying with the NEC is crucial for electricians, contractors, and anyone involved in electrical work. NEC 314.29 specifically addresses the accessibility of electrical boxes, conduit bodies, and handhole enclosures. This requirement is in place to facilitate future maintenance, repairs, and modifications to the electrical system. By ensuring that these components are readily accessible, electricians can efficiently troubleshoot and resolve any issues that may arise without having to resort to destructive or time-consuming measures. The exception provided in NEC 314.29 acknowledges that there may be situations where complete accessibility is not feasible or necessary. In such cases, the code allows for the use of listed boxes and handhole enclosures that are covered by certain materials, as long as the location can be effectively identified and excavated if needed. This exception provides flexibility while still maintaining a reasonable level of accessibility for future work. When evaluating the applicability of the exception in NEC 314.29, it is important to carefully consider the specific circumstances of the installation. Factors such as the type of box or enclosure used, the material covering it, and the method of location identification should all be taken into account. The AHA has the final say in determining whether the exception is applicable in a given situation, so it is crucial to consult with them and obtain their approval before proceeding with the installation. In this specific scenario involving a conduit run through a bridge deck, the use of a Form 7T conduit body as a drain raises some questions about accessibility. While it may be argued that the concrete covering the conduit body qualifies as a non-cohesive granulated soil, the AHA may have concerns about the difficulty of excavating the concrete if access is required in the future. To address these concerns, it may be necessary to provide additional measures to ensure that the location of the conduit body can be easily identified and excavated. This could include marking the location on the bridge deck surface or providing detailed drawings that indicate the exact position of the conduit body. In addition to consulting with the AHA, it is also advisable to consider alternative solutions that would provide better accessibility to the wiring. This could involve rerouting the conduit run to a more accessible location or using a different type of conduit body that is easier to access. By exploring these alternatives, it may be possible to find a solution that meets the requirements of NEC 314.29 without relying on the exception. When working with electrical systems, it is always best to err on the side of caution and prioritize safety and accessibility. By carefully considering the requirements of the NEC and consulting with the AHJ, you can ensure that your installations are both safe and compliant with the code. The NEC, or National Electrical Code, is a set of standards that dictate safe electrical practices in the United States. It is updated every 3 years and provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical installations. NEC 314.29 in particular focuses on the accessibility of electrical boxes, conduit bodies, and handheld enclosures. The reason for this requirement is to ensure that electrical components can be easily accessed for maintenance, repairs, or modifications without causing significant disruption to the building structure or surrounding environment. In essence, it prevents situations where electricians have to demolish walls or excavate large areas just to reach a junction box. The primary requirement of NEC 314.29 is straightforward: electrical boxes, conduit bodies, and handheld enclosures must be installed so that the wiring inside can be accessed without removing any part of the building or excavating sidewalks, paving, earth, or other materials used to establish the finished grade. This means that if an electrical box is buried behind a wall or under a concrete slab, it would generally violate this code. However, the code recognizes that there may be situations where strict adherence to this rule is not practical or feasible. That's why it includes an exception. The exception to NEC 314.29 allows for listed boxes and handheld enclosures to be covered by gravel, light aggregate, or non-cohesive granulated soil, provided that their location is effectively identified and accessible for excavation. This exception is commonly applied in outdoor installations where burying the enclosure is necessary, such as in landscaping or underground systems. In such cases, the location of the enclosure must be clearly marked, and the surrounding material must be easily removable for access. When dealing with the specific situation of a conduit run through a bridge deck, the applicability of the exception becomes more nuanced. The question revolves around whether the concrete deck slab can be considered a non-cohesive granulated soil, and whether the conduit body can be effectively identified and accessed for excavation. Concrete, in its cured form, is obviously not a non-cohesive granulated soil. It's a solid, hardened material. Therefore, the exception would not automatically apply in this situation. However, there might be arguments to be made depending on the specific circumstances. For instance, if the concrete around the conduit body is designed to be easily removable, or if the conduit body is encased in a removable sleeve, it might be possible to argue that the intent of the exception is met. Ultimately, the decision rests with the local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction, or OJ. They have the authority to interpret the code and make judgments based on the specific details of the installation. The recommendation to consult with the AHJ is crucial in these situations. They can assess the situation, consider any mitigating factors, and determine whether the proposed installation meets the intent of the code. If the AHJ approves the installation, it would be considered an acceptable solution. Otherwise, alternative methods would need to be explored. Some possible alternative solutions might include rerouting the conduit to a more accessible location, using a different type of conduit body that allows for easier access, or designing a removable access panel in the concrete deck. The key is to find a solution that provides reasonable access to the wiring while also maintaining the structural integrity of the bridge deck. In addition to the accessibility requirements of NEC 314.29, it's also important to consider other relevant code sections and industry standards. For example, the conduit and conduit body must be appropriately sized for the conductors being installed, and the installation must comply with all applicable grounding and bonding requirements. The NEC is a comprehensive document, and it's essential to have a thorough understanding of its provisions to ensure safe and compliant electrical installations. Furthermore, it's always a good practice to stay up to date with the latest edition of the NEC, as changes and revisions are made every 3 years to reflect advancements in technology and best practices. In summary, when dealing with situations where strict adherence to NEC 314.29 is not feasible, it's important to carefully evaluate the specific circumstances, consult with the AHJ, and explore alternative solutions that provide reasonable access to the wiring while maintaining safety and code compliance. The goal is to ensure that electrical systems can be safely maintained and repaired without causing unnecessary disruption or damage to the surrounding environment. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a comprehensive set of standards for electrical wiring and equipment in the United States. It is published by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, and is updated every 3 years. The NEC is widely adopted by state and local jurisdictions, and it serves as the basis for electrical safety inspections. Section 314.29 of the NEC specifically addresses the accessibility of boxes, conduit bodies, and handheld enclosures. This section requires that these components be installed in a manner that allows access to the wiring contained within them without requiring the removal of any part of the building or excavation of the surrounding area. The purpose of this requirement is to ensure that electrical systems can be easily inspected, maintained, and repaired without causing significant disruption or damage. The NEC recognizes that there may be situations where strict compliance with the accessibility requirement is not feasible. For example, in underground installations, it may be necessary to bury boxes and conduit bodies beneath sidewalks or other paved surfaces. In these cases, the NEC provides an exception that allows for the use of listed boxes and handheld enclosures that are covered by gravel, light aggregate, or non-cohesive granulated soil, provided that their location is effectively identified and accessible for excavation. This exception is intended to strike a balance between the need for accessibility and the practical limitations of certain installation environments. When evaluating whether the exception to NEC 314.29 applies in a particular situation, several factors must be considered. Firstly, the box or handheld enclosure must be listed, meaning that it has been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory to meet certain safety standards. Secondly, the material covering the box or enclosure must be gravel, light aggregate, or non-cohesive granulated soil. These materials are relatively easy to excavate, which allows for access to the wiring when needed. Thirdly, the location of the box or enclosure must be effectively identified, meaning that there must be a clear and reliable way to locate it even after it has been buried. This can be achieved through the use of markers, maps, or other means of identification. Finally, the box or enclosure must be accessible for excavation, meaning that there must be sufficient space and clearance around it to allow for digging and removal of the covering material. In the scenario involving a conduit run through a bridge deck, the question arises whether the use of a Form 70 conduit body as a drain at the low point of the conduit run complies with NEC 314.29. The primary concern is that the conduit body will be embedded in the concrete deck slab, which would make it difficult to access the wiring contained within it. While concrete is not explicitly listed as an acceptable covering material in the exception to NEC 314.29, it could be argued that it is similar to non-cohesive granulated soil in that it can be excavated with the proper tools and equipment. However, the authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, may have concerns about the difficulty and cost of excavating concrete, as well as the potential for damage to the bridge deck. Therefore, it is essential to consult with the AHA to determine whether the proposed installation is acceptable. If the AHA determines that the use of a conduit body embedded in concrete does not comply with NEC 314.29, there are several alternative solutions that could be considered. Firstly, the conduit run could be rerouted to avoid the low point in a bridge deck, which would eliminate the need for a drain. Secondly, a different type of drain could be used that does not require a conduit body, such as a weep hole or a drainage pipe. Thirdly, an access panel could be installed in the bridge deck above the conduit body, which would allow for access to the wiring without requiring excavation. The choice of the best alternative solution will depend on the specific circumstances of the installation, including the structural design of the bridge deck, the available space, and the cost. In conclusion, NEC 314.29 requires that boxes, conduit bodies, and handheld enclosures be installed in a manner that allows access to the wiring contained within them without requiring the removal of any part of the building or excavation of the surrounding area. While there is an exception to this requirement for listed boxes in enclosures that are covered by gravel, light aggregate, or non-cohesive granulated soil, the applicability of this exception in specific situations must be determined by the authority having jurisdiction. When in doubt, it is always best to consult with the AHA to ensure that the proposed installation complies with the NEC and is safe.